Hi, this is my sociology project, and my topic is my ADHD. I chose this topic because not a lot of people understand what ADHD is. It stands for Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder. What it really is, you get really distracted easily, and you always have extra energy. I have ADHD, and I've had it for many years now. My family brought me to a psychiatrist when I was a little kid because I had anger management problems. But and a lot of people think that ADHD just affects your academics, but it's a lot more than that. It also affects your social. Sometimes when I'm talking to people, I just get really distracted. And I just can't even continue the conversation because I just can't even concentrate on it. And I always lose train of thought. I mean, it's not all the time, but it just happens a lot. It's a symptom. And another thing about ADHD is that it takes a while to comprehend certain things. Sometimes I'll be sitting in class reading something, and I can't exactly comprehend it. Sometimes it takes a couple of minutes for me to reread it or ask the teacher to repeat the question, and it just takes extra effort. And in my project, we have to do something that inspires the human spirit. And I chose my ADHD because it really changed me. It just changed me when I really understood what it does to myself. And it made me mature a lot, and I learned how to deal with it a lot better than when I was younger and didn't really understand what my ADHD did to me. So a lot of people don't really understand how to control it, but there are a lot of ways to control it. You could take medication. I started taking medication last April, so it's almost been a full year, and it really helped me a lot. It mostly helps me with my academics because I was struggling in school since I was a little girl, and I always had to try extra hard than most kids. I couldn't just read something and understand it. I have to read it 10 times to really get the concept. But another thing with ADHD is that when you really understand something, you grasp it really good. And you could really thoroughly do something. Or if you really enjoy something that you're learning, that's also really good because you're like a genius in that subject. And also, another thing I want to say about it is that a lot of people don't understand what it does to you. What it is that you have receptors in your brain. It's in the front of your brain that controls your focusing and your memory and stuff. And it controls that. And there's little chemicals that are coming out of the receptors in your brain, and it gives out chemicals. And for most people, it's just a decent amount. But when you have ADHD, or sometimes it could be other disorders like ADD, which is just attention deficit disorder, without the hyperness. And the chemicals, it just gives off less chemicals, the receptors in your brain, and that's really what ADHD is. So it's an actual disorder. But if you take medication, it could reinforce the receptors in your brain to give off more chemicals, and that usually helps you focus more or remember things, because when you have ADHD, it's really hard to remember things. I always have to write things down. I am now going to interview my sister, my dad, and my mom. What do you know about ADHD?
Well, first of all, I know you have it, and I also know that you have, it's an attention deficit disorder, I think, and you have trouble, focusing, and you're always, feel like you're, rushing and stuff. That's really it, I think.
What do you think about ADHD?
Well, I think that it's something that's probably been misdiagnosed for a long time. That probably it's been in society without a name for a long time. And I would bet that in a busy person's mind, somebody that's preoccupied, they might be quickly classified as ADHD. But sometimes it's just that the people are busy and they really can't give the proper time to give a good answer. And I just think with society today, especially with the caffeine and those energizer drinks, I think it makes the brain and the body work a little too quickly, and it might cause you not to be able to think clearly. So if that's what ADHD is, then I would bet that there's a lot of people in society that have it, and probably some very.
When did you first discover I might have ADHD?
In elementary school, probably after third grade, when it started getting harder for you and your grades started slipping, and I saw that you needed extra help in subjects. I realized something wasn't right because you were a very bright child when in preschool, and I knew you had the smarts, and you needed extra help in reading and math, and you went to early bird classes. And then sixth grade came, and that's a big transition year into middle school, and it was a rough year for you. But then you did a big turnaround in seventh grade, and we got you help from the guidance counselor with an organizational skills group. And eighth grade was so-so. Then we went to another transition year in freshman year in high school. So I took that into consideration, waited and see. I was trying to avoid medication, which I knew might be the inevitable, because working with special needs kids myself, I'm a teacher's assistant. I knew all the signs of ADD or ADHD, and I used all my skills and tactics, and we did go for professional help and different therapies to avoid medication, but nothing was helping. So therefore, by the end of sophomore year, when her grades kept slipping, and Tara was ready to admit that she possibly might have ADD or ADHD, we went the medication route and to a psychiatrist last spring. Before that, when I had mentioned it to her in middle school, she was pretty resilient to that fact and was upset with me that I could accuse her of having ADD or ADHD. But now she realizes it's pretty common. It doesn't mean that she's scarred or there's anything terribly wrong with her. She just needs a little extra help in focusing. She's a bright child, and it gave her more confidence, and she is very acceptable, knowing that she has ADD, which is okay. She just needed a little extra help. She's doing phenomenal in her grades now, and I really believe that she can just move forward from here and be a great scholar. And it's also had changed her personality. She built her confidence accepting this.